Hey traders, and welcome to the A1 Trading channel. My name's Ryan, and in this new series we're going to talk specifically about gold and silver. So what price action is looking like and potential moves for the week ahead. So if you like the video, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And I hope you enjoy the video. So first, if we take a look at gold, now the path of least resistance right now is to the downside on account of this pretty bearish price action. We're getting a bit of a reaction here at this support zone that we have seen before. So one of the scenarios for gold at the moment is possibly a larger head and shoulders pattern. Now this is the bullish scenario. We have to see a break of the neckline for that to be confirmed. However, if we do create a higher low here and we do push up to roughly around this neckline here and end up pushing through it, it could indicate some bullish momentum for gold to the upside. Now, I think that's the least likely scenario. If we take that recent price action, it looks to be at the moment a pullback for continuation to the downtrend. Now, if we look at this 4-hour chart, we can see we've had a slight fake to the downside. I think that's on account that it wasn't really ready to move at this point in time. So from this impulse, we're at the point now we're pulling back to around that 20 moving average. If we get an indication, possibly if this closes as a hammer, or we get another bar here, a bearish engulfer, something like that, an indication that this does want to move to the downside, then that may be a good indicator that gold wants to continue on its downside direction. If we put a Fibonacci on it, from the start of the move to the end of the move, there is an argument that this pulls back to roughly around that 38.2 to 61.8 box. Gold sometimes likes a deeper retracement, possibly back to this previous support becoming new resistance area, again for a continuation to the downside. If we break above this 61.8, then that head and shoulders on the 4-hour chart could potentially be in play. However, at the moment, we've got to take what we see, and this price action at the moment, even though it's not perfect, is indicating potential pullback and continuation to the downside on gold. If we look at the smaller time frames, this is a 30-minute chart, we could potentially be getting a possible cut with handle basing structure here. Again, this is an argument for movement to the upside. This is not confirmed yet. We need price action that looks something like this to comprise our handle. However, we do have this 200 in the way as dynamic resistance to price. So for the argument that gold goes long, we need price action that looks potentially something like this, possibly a breakout or a breakout and retest for continuation to the upside. Now, again, I'd like to reiterate that this, I think, is the least likely scenario. However, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, and anything can happen. So if you're a gold bull, possibly looking for price action like this. If you are a gold bear, look for a reason to enter, possibly on that pullback around that 38.2, 50, 61.8, or previous support becoming new resistance. Or for added confirmation, we look for a break and close underneath this structure. Okay, on to silver. Now, the silver daily chart looks a bit healthier than gold. This price action, we can see impulse to the downside, correct, impulse to the downside, correct, impulse to the downside, and we're in that corrective period. Now, we've broken out of this correction and broken through these structure lows. And not only that, we've broken through the supply zone lows as well. So we're getting a potential break and close underneath this area. So this is a nice trend. Notice how we're pulling back roughly to around that 20 and continuing on. So continued breaks below the lows. And we've got another one here. So your bias again for this has to be due to the downside. The daily chart does look good. However, the lower time frames possibly could indicate that we are a little bit extended and the move has possibly already happened on these smaller time frames. So similar to gold, we could see a pullback for continuation to the downside. Personally, I wouldn't be selling silver right here. I know once these commodities move, they can move. But from my personal strategy and the way that I see the charts, I would be waiting for a better entry. So possibly a pullback, maybe around that 20. Again, using your Fibonacci tool, taking it from the start of the move to the bottom. You could look for a pullback roughly around this area here. A reason to get in for continuation to the downside. And very similar to gold, if you wanted added protection on that entry or an added confirmation for that entry, we could look for a break and close underneath this area. The only thing I worry about taking a sell here is you do get caught in that pullback. So I would consider this move already done. And we've had a 4-hour hammer here. Now the hammer bar indicates potential movement to the upside. So maybe this plays through. I'm not saying it will. We know that once silver goes, and same with gold, it can move out with technical analysis. But in terms of an entry, I think a pullback entry on this or a confirmation of a close, break and close below these lows would be a better entry than what it is now. So this daily chart looks nice. There's no doubt about it. Looks a really nice trend, very simple price action, creating lower highs and lower lows, a simple Dow theory downtrend. It looks like we've got a potential lower low now, and hopefully creating another lower high for that Dow theory technical downtrend. So gold and silver for me both look bearish. I would just wait for a potential pullback. We are getting the DXY at a decent resistance area, so if that does come off a bit, possibly gold gets a bit of strength on account of that inverse relationship. So look for those pullbacks or look for those confirmation by a break and close underneath those structure lows. Now, if you're interested in more gold and silver analysis, A1 Trading do have a Telegram below. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the description below. And remember, if you like that video, remember to hit the like button, and we will be back next week for another gold and silver outlook. Cheers, guys, and trade safe.